Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Nethergreen podcast. I am your one and only host, Bradley, and I am joined by my special guest this episode. What is your name, young man?
My name is Michael McDouglas.
He's just Michael Douglas.
McDouglas.
No, Michael Douglas. You play Hank Pym in Ant-Man, and you are a very well-renowned actor. It's an honour to have you on the podcast, Michael.
Yeah, no. It's real nice being here. You know, I'm really happy to.
What can you tell us about Ant-Man 3?
Well, I can tell you a lot of things, but let's just skip over that, okay? And let's get on to the real important stuff, and that is that my name isn't actually Michael McDouglas. I'm actually Hector.
What?
Oh my god,
man! That is there's plot twists in this episode, folks. So you should stick around for it. This is Hector, and another plot twist. I mean, M. Night Shyamalan just throwing plot twists your way. He's not actually a guest. He's the second host of this podcast. He's here every day.
Yeah. And Bradley, you actually really insulted me right there.
Oh,
publicly.
Oh man. Well, you know what? I publicly apologise. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Does that make you feel better inside, knowing I'm sorry?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, good. That's what apologies should be.
Yeah, that's what apologies for, man.
All right, yeah, welcome back. If you're listening to this episode right when it airs, you're probably like, this is weird, because this aired at the same time as episode 2. Like, this airs right after episode 2. It airs on the same day. I thought it was supposed to be a week in between podcasts. What's going on, Bradley and Hector of the Nethergreen podcast, is what you're saying. And my explanation for that is it took us a bit longer than expected to figure out how to put this on Spotify and Apple. And thus, we kind of uploaded the first episode late. Yeah. And now, if we don't upload these two in the same week, there's going to be a very big week-long delay between like every episode. We'll lose relevance, folks.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's not good. But, RSS feeds, and then we discovered Spotify, and it was the solution. We thought we were going to have to code a whole program to upload them to
Hector was going to work
iTunes.
for 2 days straight without sleep in order to try and make this from scratch.
Yeah. It was going to be the 48-hour coding challenge, And but it didn't happen. We just put it on Spotify, and Spotify did it all for you for free.
It's not Spotify. It's a service called Anchor, I think it's called.
Right, and they just do it. Yeah,
it's hosted by Spotify, but if it was just Spotify, they wouldn't let you do it to fucking Apple Podcasts and all that stuff.
I mean, when I first saw it, I was as someone who takes interest in developing, I was kind of interested how it wasn't already a free service, because it was a fairly simple process. But then
it turns out it is a free service, yes.
Supplied by Spotify. So if you have your own podcast, or you want to put them online for free, you don't want to have to be paying for someone to do it on
Or don't
RSS
do
feed.
that. Don't become our competition. Just listen to our podcast.
Yeah, just listen to our podcast.
Now on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And please, if you do listen, leave it a review, leave it a like or something. We'll notice it, and we don't have that many, so if you do, we'll read it out.
Yeah, it's the early stages.
Yeah, we're still growing. We're only 3 in. Think about that. That's nothing. The 3rd episode of Family Guy. Who the fuck cares about that?
Who watched that?
No one did.
No one watched that.
No one even knew what.
Hundreds
people
of
were like Family Guy.
Point.
I know lots of guys with families. You've got to be more specific.
Yeah, man.
That's what they were all saying.
Yeah. I mean, even the animation back then, pretty terrible.
It was, but we're not here to talk about Family Guy today. We've got a variety of different topics today. A lot of things have happened, Hector.
A lot.
Big things.
Yeah.
Massive things. Jeffrey Bezos went to space since
Jeffrey
the last
Bezos went to space.
Jeffrey Bezos, and that's all I'm going to sing because it's probably copyrighted. But Bo Burnham's Inside is great, and he's got 2 songs about the human Lex Luthor that is Jeffrey Bezos.
Yeah, and he chose a good topic by choosing Jeffrey Bezos, because Jeffrey Bezos is a surreal man when you think about him. Really, who is he? Where did he come from?
Where did he go?
And where did he come from? And now he's the richest man on Earth. And it used to be Bill Gates, but no, not anymore. Now it's fucking Jeffrey Bezos. Where did he come from? And now he's the richest man in the world. So rich, in fact, he can afford for a whole project to create a rocket to send him, his relatives, his brother,
Man, nepotism much.
an engineer.
Don't have to be qualified, just have to be in the family.
Yeah, no, it was his brother, him, an engineer, and someone else, can't remember. And they all went up into space. And the purpose of this...
Weren't they only up there for like 10 hours or so?
So they were up there for 2 minutes.
What? I heard it was like 10 hours, 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, it was a 2 hour it was like hours to be in the rocket, but they spent 2 minutes in suspended gravity, like above Earth. So they were able to like see stuff, and they were able to be in space for 2 minutes. That was the purpose of that project, so they could go to space for 2 minutes. But someone did this first, and that was Richard Branson. Richard Branson was also into this kind of stuff, and he did a similar thing. And they say, you've got Richard Branson, Elon Musk, and fucking Jeffrey Bezos, and they're all just competing against one another. It's basically just rich boys.
What do they know? Why are they trying to escape Earth? What's coming? What do the rich people know? I don't know. His rocket, how much thought do you think he put into the design of that rocket? Because it looked incredibly phallic. That looked like a chode flying up there in the air.
I'll tell you why. This is my theory as to why it looked like that, and I think it's plausible.
You think he's compensating for something?
No. I think him being him, he didn't have enough time. He didn't care. He just paid people to do it for him. But there was the whole scandal about Amazon workers being paid very little. So what probably happened is he hired really top people, but said, fuck you guys, I'm going to pay you nothing to send me to space. I'm going to pay you hardly anything. And because of that, they got back at him by building him a phallic rocket, being like, you're a dickhead, because he's like at the head of the dick, flying into space. That's my theory, because fuck him, he pays people like, considering the huge amount of profit. Yeah, I get it, a business needs to have a profit margin, but when so much of the profit margin, is going into the shareholders, that's too much profit. For him to be a billionaire now off of all his shares, and all of the workers are, basically living at barely standard wages, it's kind of fucked. It's kind of fucked.
It's just, I didn't know it was actually possible for a man to have too much money. I think that guy's got too much money. Like, could he even spend the much money he has in his lifetime? Theoretically, could he do it?
Well, what is there? There's the thing. If you were born on the same day Jesus died, and you earned £1,000 every day, you still wouldn't be as rich as Jeffrey Bezos.
That's insane. How did he do it? Do you think he made like a curse? Like he made a deal with the devil, he sold his soul?
Well, what happened is he built a business that became worth billions, and then he had like a lot of the shares in it and got paid a shit ton of money. Like,
again, maybe too much money.
There's hundreds of thousands of people employed at Amazon. There are more Amazon employees than there are people in the world named Lucy.
Maybe all of the Lucys work at Amazon.
Yeah, and that's insane. That's how many people work there. So all of the profit made from all of those people, where does it go? Jeffrey Bezos and the other shareholders, of course.
Man, it's honestly, it's kind of a scary thought that there's one man out there that has more money than most of the world.
So here's something interesting. The man who invented... This is on a tangent, we didn't script this, but the man who invented Bitcoin, right, has 400 quadrillion US dollars worth of Bitcoin. Now the entire world's economy is theorized to be worth like 400 trillion. So he has more than 1,000 times the entire world's wealth. So all the money that every single person in the whole world has, he has 1,000 times that.
But only in Bitcoin. But only technically theoretically.
Well, no, because that's how much Bitcoin is worth.
Yeah, but he couldn't cash it out.
One Bitcoin is worth 60k.
But you couldn't cash it out.
But you can spend it. Most like Tesla, not what was it, Tesla? No, it was Tesla.
I don't know.
Like they accepted Bitcoin as a form of payment. Like loads of because it's a currency, it's a recognized currency on the stock exchange.
That's so.
If you wanted to,
money.
he could actually try to withdraw that much worth of US. Obviously, the government wouldn't allow it because that would be like more than the entire US economy. But he literally has 1,000 times the world's money.
That's insane. It's like real life can become like a real fucking game of Monopoly sometimes, you know, where like there are so many obvious winners and so many obvious losers. Which is terrifying to think that. And like that's like in a way that's kind of the dream of every people. Right? Everyone's dream in life is like their dream in Monopoly.
To get as much property and money as possible, but it's like creative, which we'll talk about later as well. Minecraft. It's like creative mode in Minecraft. At a certain point, you get bored of it because at that point, when you have literally enough money, you could buy the entire world. You could buy every single property in the whole world with that much money. It's just insane.
It's too much.
And it proves how broken like the world's economy system is. But that's for another episode at another time.
It is.
Because we're going to be talking about video games, Bradley.
This is a topic we were going to actually talk about it last week, but we went on too many tangents. We talked about Black Mirror, Black Widow and the MCU and stuff. But yes, we want to talk about all things video game related. Now we're both gamers, I think. Would you agree? It's a bit cringy. I don't label myself as that, but it's just
gamer.
In reality, I play a lot of games, so theoretically, I'm a gamer.
Yeah. You know, we're people who enjoy video games.
Yeah.
I personally only play PC games because I don't have a console. Bradley has a console. He plays a lot of console games. You enjoy console games.
And a big part of why I enjoy console games, there's two reasons. One, my PlayStation 1's better than my computer. You know, it's not that good of a computer. But two, I really enjoy buying games in cases. I really enjoy having physical things that I can hold and shit.
Yeah, I guess...
a Steam library, I have hundreds of games in my Steam library, but it doesn't feel the same as owning like a stack of games.
That's the thing. I guess it's kind of like the collectible aspects of games as well, because you want to collect them because they're things that you are interested in and such.
And considering I also have a Blu-ray collection and PlayStation games are the exact same size, it slots right in. It looks perfect. So I'm a very much a PlayStation gamer.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I wouldn't have actually ever bought a PlayStation if it wasn't for one specific game, and that was 2018's Spider-Man. That's the only reason I bought one in the first place, because it's a PlayStation exclusive. I was like, well, fuck, I have to. Like, I can't just not play Spider-Man.
So that was when you got a PlayStation, or that was when you got the game?
No, that's when I got a PlayStation. I didn't own a PlayStation until I had to buy one for Spider-Man.
I see. So up until then, you'd only played what on your PC?
Yeah, and it wasn't as good as playing on a PlayStation anyway, but I just put up with it. But then once I bought Spider-Man, it gave me an opportunity to buy other favourites I played, like the Arkham series, which we're going to delve into a bit more, or I am at least, because when talking about video games, I have to bring them up. I played them first on my PC. And in fact, the last one was so bad on my PC, that running-wise, that I never played it until I bought it on PlayStation. And now the last one's my favourite to play, and we'll get into it. But no, like, but if it wasn't for Spider-Man and that being a PlayStation exclusive, I probably wouldn't be a PlayStation gamer.
I see. Yeah, no, it's completely different for me. Like, well, I guess not completely different, but more... I only got into PC gaming. Like a lot of my mates had consoles like Xbox or PlayStation, and like we play like COD or
Halo.
I remember one of my mates played FIFA. I remember one of my mates played... it was mostly like COD or FIFA, or those types of things.
My brother's obsessed with both of those games.
I never got into them. Man. I was into my PC games. Like, I remember when I was younger, I used to play those like online, like web games. Yeah. Remember like the mini clip type of games? Yeah.
Did you ever play a game, I think it was like an entire series, Hobo with a Shotgun?
Yes.
Dude, that shit was my jam.
Yes, man.
Because it had like checkpoints with codes that you had to write down and memorise, and you had like combos. That shit was awesome. Yeah.
Do you remember fucking Happy Wheels?
Happy Wheels is arguably what made PewDiePie famous. Like, that's when he got really popular, when he was doing his Happy Wheels series.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it was a fucking classic.
It's a classic web game. It is a classic web game. The one that you play in school, you know, in IT when you weren't supposed to be, you know.
Nah, to be fair, for school, it was always Bloom Towers Defense for me. Because that was like just safe for work enough, you know, like no bloods or guts or anything, just monkeys and balloons and darts. Of all things you'd find in an average school.
But fucking, I remember like one of the first PC games that I played was StarCraft 2. When I got to school, StarCraft 2, I played that with Luke, one of my first mates from school, and then we'll
have him on the podcast one day, maybe, because Luke's a good guy.
Definitely, maybe they'll feature in the podcast.
Yeah.
And then I discovered what I believe to be the greatest game ever made. Before
you bring it up, my first game on a PC, I'm pretty sure it was on a shitty laptop and it was free. And this is a game you probably not heard of, but it was a Star Wars parody series involving chickens called Egg Wars or something like that, or Chicken Wars.
Yeah.
Chick Wars, something like that.
Yeah. They
had a game for each installment of the series, and the idea is it was like a fucking, 2D, like Alien Invader thing, where you're playing a spaceship, but in this it's a giant chicken, and you're shooting eggs at other spaceship chicken things. It got intense. I was young, but yeah, no, and that was the first one I ever downloaded, and then I think it was Slender. That's my second one.
Yeah, Slender's quite a classic one, isn't it? That's like classic PC gaming, isn't it? Slender, one of the first like proper popular PC horror games,
especially for for our age. It was very like I think it was probably the first horror game I'd ever played.
Yeah, we're forgetting like actually there were games before that I played that my dad used to be a PC gamer, because like back in his day, like PCs had just been invented, like people were just starting to use PCs, and he was like into like coding and doing PC stuff. And yeah, he was the one that originally got me into PC gaming. And what was it? Doom, I think.
Oh,
like
Doom,
the original Doom.
Classic.
Like proper classic game, and lots of other classic games which I can't remember the name of. I remember one involving dinosaurs and like a dinosaur with like guns. And then another one, I'm pretty sure maybe it is Doom that I'm thinking of, but another one like in a dungeon, can't remember. But like classic games, that was where it all started, with my dad's love of gaming that kind of got me into gaming. And then just from there, and then it broke into Minecraft.
Yeah. Now Minecraft is it's by all accounts technically the best game ever made in terms of pure potential.
In terms of what you can do on the game, there isn't a single game that beats Minecraft. Because if you think about it, really, whatever you can do in any other game, you can do in Minecraft.
Apart from poo and sex.
For fuck's sake. We're not fucking talking about that on the goddamn podcast. That deserves to get cut. I'm
not going to cut it. It's just an inside joke for whoever's listening.
But yeah, no, like it's true. Almost anything that you can do in any other game, you can do in Minecraft. Like they've done mods, mod packs, like ones that involve guns, cars. Like there is literally nothing that you can do in another game that you can't do in Minecraft.
There's even shit that you can only do in Minecraft that you can't really find as well as in other games. Like as a kid, like 15, 14, fucking The Flash. I used to love The Flash. There's not a Flash game or anything though. There's no game that lets you be The Flash. But there were mod packs on Minecraft that would give you speed powers and it would slow down everything and all that sort of shit. There was so much shit in Minecraft that you could only sort of find in Minecraft sometimes, And some of the mod packs are really fucking impressive, to be fair. Yeah. Like, I spent hours on The Crafting Dead. That was like the proper zombie apocalypse in the daytime. Yeah. Like, you have got to find and scavenge for fucking objects and shit. Yeah. Like, that was like some intense gameplay for me back in the day.
Yeah, no, I've played on that before, on what is it, the Technic launcher.
Technic or Bucket or something like that.
That's really good. The Crafting Dead is really good. That's good fun. I remember me and a friend from sixth form, Nathan, you've met him.
Yeah,
we used to play the Crafting Dead a lot, and that was good fun. Yeah, but that's fucking Minecraft, man. Like, there is no other game. I think maybe League of Legends competes with this, but which I've
never played.
There aren't that many games with a player base that has such a high like hour count in the game.
Yeah.
Like there are people who probably have thousands, if not maybe tens of thousands of hours in Minecraft. Like there are some people that have just played it every single day for their whole life since it was released, you know. And there's people that have done that with League of Legends, but like it's kind of sad in a way. But there are people that literally spend their whole lives playing Minecraft.
Because it's escapism, and not only that, but when it's Minecraft where you control everything that happens in your world, like you can build your world from the ground up, from scratch, literally.
Yeah.
Like block for block. That's the ultimate escapism in a way. Like, you're a god of this world. Or at least you can be. Or you can not be. You can play it not as a god, but you can also play it as a god and shit. And I'm not just talking about creative, but I just mean, like, your attitude towards playing it. You could play it casually, or you could speed one. Yeah. You could build giant fucking kingdoms, make yourself, like, the king of the castle. Or you could fucking go underground and fucking live like a little mole. You know, live like a tiny little mole, just digging around. A disgusting little mole. But you can do that in Minecraft, you know? That's just... But... Well, it is the best game ever made. Is it starting to get old?
See, I think no, but yes for us. Because, I mean, me personally, like I remember my friend from year 8, Luke, introduced me to Minecraft. Since then, since year 8, I think year 8 till like year 11, I literally played, maybe even like year 12. So like the first year of sixth form, I played way too much Minecraft. so much fucking Minecraft. I used to play Minecraft Factions, which is like a competitive like version of Minecraft.
What's the most embarrassing thing you've done when it comes to Minecraft? I'll tell you mine. I once literally spent a full over 24 hours, a full all-nighter and a full day fishing in Minecraft trying to get a saddle.
Really?
Hey man, I was like 14.
That's pretty mad.
But I did fucking do that, yeah. I spent a full 24 hours fishing in Minecraft.
For me, I have a similar experience to that. So back in the day, I had a crappy ass laptop. It was like, it was my stepdad's laptop that I used to play Minecraft. And one time I had it for the whole night. And so I went onto the Minecraft server that we played on. It was me, a mate from school, and another mate from school who had a big like he'd have temper tantrums. He had like an anger problem, and I spent
you also had big nose and fat teeth. But
I spent all night from the day I got home till the morning. I didn't sleep till the morning when I had to go for school. I spent all night lining his island in Minecraft with TNT to blow up his island, but not just to blow up his house, to blow up the entire island where his house was.
You are so mischievous.
So mischievous. And then I destroyed the whole island. Like a little goblin.
Little TNT goblin.
And then I blew up his island, and the next day, man, he raged. He was like fucking in what do you call it, form time. He was just like throwing the chairs around the room, and like the teacher came in and like had to ask us supposed to leave.
Man, yeah, it
was cringe.
But back then, when you're young, that game consumed you, man. Like, because that shit is your shit. You know, like, and someone blows up shit that you've worked hard on. Like, I remember people wouldn't, like, I don't know, I didn't deal with grievers that much because the people I played with were pretty tight and not, well, there was some people who were trolls. I was a troll sometimes. Like but for the most part, just if something was to go wrong, I'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake, oh man, like, oh no, darn, you know, like, a creeper blows up, I'd be like, oh, fuck. So to have everything blown up, I probably would have gone a bit stressed. Yeah. But that's because you're young and you have nothing else to be stressed about in your life, you know? You're just a useless child.
Yeah, I used to play a lot of Minecraft Factions, and literally no other games. I only played that. And I think that might be past the reason why I also have not a hatred,
a phobia,
but a phobia, not non-enjoyment of single player games.
See, that's I don't know, because for me, and this might shock you because we play Minecraft a lot together, but if I was to take like the one time of all the Minecraft I've ever played, I've played a lot more single player than multiplayer.
Really?
Yeah. I used to hardcore play single player worlds. And I don't actually mean play it in hardcore. I just mean I used to do a normal hard world And then I used to be on it 24/7.
Yeah, no, not very, very different for me. It was all like on like a server that my friend had hosted. That was, I only ever played with other people. So yeah, I've never played single player games really. I can't think of any that I've played, to be honest.
For me, most of the games I play are single player, unless I'm playing. Because think about it, even when we play together, there aren't that many games we play together, but I still have over 200 games in my Steam library.
Yeah, you do have a lot of games.
And I love single player games. And now it's time for me to bring up the Arkham trilogy. Or the Arkham quadrilogy. I'll talk about all of them briefly.
Yeah.
But I am a massive Batman fan. In fact, I'm pretty sure for the icon of our podcast, I'm literally wearing a Batman shirt.
Yeah, you are.
Like, I love Batman. But I didn't love Batman properly. I didn't really understand Batman until I played the Arkham trilogy. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, if I didn't have such an amazing time playing the Arkham trilogy, which I do, I can play it. I'd play it right now. You know what? Fuck this podcast. I'll play it right now.
Fuck this podcast. I'm gonna play it. Fuck you.
But if I didn't have such a great time playing that, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that kind of shaped my perspective on single player games a bit. Because like when I played Batman Arkham, like the first ones I played were Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, and I played those like on repeat when I was again like 14, 15ish. And for me, when I played those games, it was proper escapism. I shut off the world around me. I would turn off all the lights. I'd focus on the screen. I was Batman. That's kind of bled into how I play single player games. I try and focus on it as much as I can, and I can really, because I am also a guy who really enjoys a good movie and a film and stuff, a good film and TV. I mean, and I'm a scriptwriter and stuff. I love a good story. I've got a quote on my arm about stories. I love stories, and when a video game has a great story, single player or not, I dig it. I dig it hard.
Yeah, and there are a lot of games that play off of that. And
that's and including the Arkham saga. I'm not done. The Arkham trilogy, they're so good, and they're the best. Arkham City is the best Batman story in any medium. And honestly, because it's not the same for Spider-Man. I've played the Spider-Man video game. It's very good. It's very fun. But Batman specifically, he feels like a character who was created to be a video game character. Like, it's perfect. It's the perfect video game protagonist. An ordinary man with gadgets and fucking fighting abilities. Yeah. But at the end of the day, he's a normal guy. If he gets punched more than 10 times, he's going down. Every punch counts. You can't heal in the middle of a fight like you can in Spider-Man. Every punch matters. Every hit matters. Every dodge. Every counter. Yeah. It's a proper... as a kid, it was some of the most intense gaming I'd ever felt. And now as an adult, as someone who's now platinumed all of them, I feel I'm pretty fucking good at the game. I'm not going to lie. I'm really good at it. And that's another thing. When you're good, because the combat system in Arkham is called the free flow combat. And it was created by Rocksteady. Like, they did that. They created that.
That was the production house?
Yeah. As in, like, they created all of them. Apart from the third one, which is called Arkham Origins. But people don't really talk about that one. It's not very good. Yeah. In fact, it's barely anything. It might as well be a DLC for Arkham City.
Right.
Because it uses the same map with just a little bit added on, and it doesn't add to the gameplay experience in any way. Like, the fighting is exactly the same, the gadgets are exactly the same, but a bit reskinned.
Right.
It's a carbon clone, essentially.
Right.
But, man, they're my favourite.
Yeah, no, I haven't played them. I think what's the good... like 2-player game that we played that's similar to GTA on
Saints
Steam.
Row.
Saints Row.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one that has like a story.
But at the same time, that story is a single player game too, and I've played the single player on that more times than multiplayer.
Yeah. But I think that's the closest sort of I've gone.
Oh, so you played that single player, you mean?
No, I haven't played it single player. Okay. But I played the game with you, but it's a game that could be played single player.
We also played, to be fair, no, that's not actually true. We played the Simpsons game.
Oh.
And we played that on console. That might be the only console game you've actually played properly. Because we did finish it. We played that entire game co-op.
Yeah. I think that might actually be one of the few... Yeah, that's definitely one of the few console games that I've played a lot of.
And it was really fun.
We did that. We finished it. We finished the Simpsons game.
That was, honestly, that was really early into our friendship too.
Yeah. It was.
Like, that cemented our friendship.
Yeah, that's an original... That's a core memory.
This is a core memory. another game that I think you should play, that I've told you to play, is the South Park games, because you love the South Park show. You love it, and you love the movie.
South Park is brilliant. All of their content is good, but it's the way that I watch it. The way that I watch South Park. I won't just sit down and watch a South Park episode. I'll finish my work for lunch. I'll make my lunch. I'll come back to my room. I'll watch an episode of South Park while I'm having my lunch, and then I'll finish it and start work again. And that's the only part of media content of my day. Watching an episode of South Park for lunch. And that's how I've watched it. You know?
Yeah, but once you...
I couldn't play.
No, but
I couldn't play a little bit of the South Park game while eating my lunch.
No, but
you want me to do it one-handed?
What you could do, yeah, is eat your lunch, and once you finish your lunch and you've finished with your work, then you play the South Park game for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, but at that point I'd rather just be playing with other people, which I would rather be doing, so I don't.
Yeah, but why can't you just enjoy the story for what it is?
Because I'd rather be playing with other people than doing that, and that's the problem.
Even if the games you play with other people aren't as top quality as the South Park game would be, in terms of like not only memorability but like just like the South Park games are really funny. They're some of the funniest shit South Park's ever done.
They are, but I enjoy playing games oftentimes more for like the competitive aspect. Like I love playing Valorant. Like I'd rather take spending an hour or playing a match of Valorant with my brother than doing a single player game on my own. And that's the problem. Like I'd do it if I'm eating my lunch, but that's only because I can't be doing anything else. So I just watch an episode of something. But while I've got free time, I'll choose to do the thing. Free time. When I've got free time, I'll choose to do something, you know, the most enjoyable thing, and it's usually with people playing like games or like talking to people or doing something like that.
See, for me, because as a script writer who is currently not in a stable job, I have a lot of free time. So for me, when I play multiplayer, that's just how I play at the end of the day. And throughout the day, I'll play fucking single player games. I'll go onto my PlayStation, play a bit of play a bit of Batman, play a bit of Spider-Man, GTA. I really, for me, I don't really, honestly, it's almost as if there's not that much of a difference. Yeah. The same way there isn't much of a difference between playing with friends and talking with friends. Mm-hmm. To me. Mm. The game is irrelevant, and therefore all of the games are relevant, including the single player one, if that makes sense. Like, I could talk to you guys and play a single player game on my own. I've done that. I've been in a call with you guys playing Valorant, which I don't play, while I've been playing like a Batman game. Yeah. You know? It's the same thing to me. I see.
Yeah, no. Different for me. I enjoyed CSGO as well. So if you play CSGO, then, you know, thumbs up to you. CSGO
I used to play it, but then it added this medal system or whatever, and I became, because I don't play it that much when I did play it.
Ranked.
Yeah, and I became so low that I couldn't join public games. And at that point I was like, well, fuck this then.
That's funny.
I was like, yeah, fuck this. Like, what's the point?
To be fair, I wasn't the best at CSGO. I think I was like silver. Oh no, am I silver in Valorant? I'm too high. But yeah, no, CSGO, like those types of games, I enjoy. That's why I play Valorant a lot. And even when I played Minecraft, like at first I played it more for like the faction, like PvP aspect. And then later on I started getting into like building, because me and Luke actually started to like build our own Minecraft server. And that's how I got into like doing building and that kind of stuff. So, which is different to what I kind of, like it's more like the socializing aspect. Like, I feel like most people play video games for the socializing aspect. Like, people will come home from school, they'll hop onto Xbox with their mates and they'll play some like COD or like FIFA together. But that's why they're doing it. They're playing it together. I feel like that's why most people will be gaming.
Should we go through our least favourite video game?
Sure, yeah.
Or should it be like, I feel like instead of least favourite, it should be like most disappointing, I guess. Yeah. But what's the opposite of disappointing for the favourite? Most satisfying, I guess. Yeah. Most satisfying, I think it has to be Minecraft for me. For me, I think, no, it's most satisfying, a game I could sit there and play for hours. Yeah, it has to be Arkham Knight, I think.
over Minecraft.
Dude, honestly, yes.
Really?
Especially nowadays, dude. If you asked me to sit at my desk and play Minecraft for 4 hours, by the end of it, I'd feel like killing myself. But if you asked me to sit there and play Arkham Knight for 4 hours, I'd play for 8. And by the end, I'd be like, oh shit, I just finished the game again. Because I've played that game like 4-5 times the entire game, including New Game Pluses. I love, especially, and here's the thing, Arkham Knight gets a lot of hate because of the Batmobile. The Batmobile doesn't control that well, and it's kind of a big part of the story. And people are like, where? Oh no, this doesn't feel like so Batman. Much. This isn't a driving game. Shut the fuck up. The Batmobile, admittedly, yeah, you use it quite a lot in the story. But guess what? There's a lot in the story, because it's a big story. It's like a 30, 40-hour game. There's a lot in the story you don't use it. And when you're not using it and you're doing what you did in the other games, it is the best it has ever been. The fighting is so... chef's kiss. It
Delicioso,
is the best
fighting.
Not only is it the best fighting I've ever seen in a game, it's one of the best looking, or I might even go so far to say, to me, it is the best looking game I've ever played. Graphically, it is gorgeous, and there is not a single pre-rendered cutscene. Everything you see in that game is happening in real time. It's a remarkable fucking game, and it gets a lot of unnecessary hate. That includes me. I actually, because here's the thing, when I played, and this is why I think it gets so much unnecessary hate, the PC port, when it first released, it wasn't just that my computer was too bad to run it. The PC port was actually kind of broken. And they actually took it down from Steam for like its first week or two of release, which doesn't happen a lot. Like that's kind
Yeah.
And then I still weren't able to play it. I eventually got it on PlayStation, and by that time, it kind of, the whole experience had left such a bad taste in my mouth that I didn't end up actually playing it for like a year after I bought it.
Even though you had it available.
Yeah, and I knew I could play it. I still put it off, and then eventually I bought the remasters of Arkham Asylum and C, which when I first bought them, I had a conversation with you that made me laugh, because I was like, yeah, they're remastered, and you were like, well, how is it? And I was like, they look good, and that's it. Because that's all it is. Yeah, it's just a graphical update. Better, yeah. It's exactly the same game.
Yeah.
In every single way, apart from the graphics. And yeah, looks fine. The only reason I bought it was so I could play it on my PlayStation 4 instead of having to switch to a PS3.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I bought it. And it was worth the money. You know, 20 quid for both games. They're both some of my favourite games, and I will play them constantly. That's worth the money for me.
Yeah, that's a win-win in all cases.
Once I finally finished them, I was like, well, fuck, I might as well give Arkham Knight a proper go. And I started from the beginning, set it on hard, really delved into the story, and man, I missed out on that. I could have played it a whole year earlier, but I missed out on that, and I regret that. But man, yeah, what an experience. I loved it. One of my favourite games of all time.
Yeah.
Truly is.
But yeah, no, for me, Minecraft has to be. That's the one that I've spent the most time on.
I don't know. Minecraft, you're right, it hasn't gotten old, we've gotten old. But at the same time, like...
Because which one of you spent more time playing? I can guarantee you it's Minecraft. I can guarantee you have spent more time playing Minecraft than, Arkham Knight. Because if you'd spent as much time playing that game, you would be bored of it too. Okay,
yeah, but no, that's the thing. That's why I said now.
Yeah.
Like, at one point, it would have been Minecraft. But it just... I burnt out on Minecraft.
Yeah.
I burnt out. I can't play Minecraft anymore. Like, if I was ever going to play it... I don't want to say again, but if I was going to play it, like, now, it would have to be with friends. I couldn't just sit down and start a single-player hardcore world. It'd bore me to death.
However, you are... I think you're missing out the part that... Think about how many hours you spent playing Minecraft versus how many hours you spent playing Arkham, Like, I think realistically you would have spent so many hours playing Minecraft. I know that I must have spent thousands of hours playing Minecraft. So many. Like, way more hours than you spent playing Arkham, surely.
That's definitely true. However, I've got an incredible counter-argument to that. Are you ready to hear this counter-argument? It's going to blow your socks off.
Oh my god, my socks aren't ready.
You know what I've spent more hours doing than playing Minecraft?
What have you spent more hours doing than playing Minecraft?
Taking shits from my asshole. Quantity doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter how much time you spent doing it. It matters how much fun you've had in that time. And in those thousands of hours, at the end of it, it didn't cause me as much fun as Batman. Here's the thing. Minecraft has been around for a while, yes. I can't really remember the first time I played Minecraft. It's all kind of become a blur. I remember my first time playing the Arkham games. I remember, I can play through them now, and I remember my first time when I finished those missions. That thrill I got. Because that's another thing. Minecraft is a game where you could do anything, but Batman had objectives. It had a story. It had structure. And don't get me wrong, some people find that limiting, but for me, that's why it was so memorable to me, because the boss battles were really hard, and I remember how much of a feel I got when I finally beat them, and I was like, yes, as a kid, you know? And how angry I would get at some of them because I couldn't beat them. And I'd always, even now, that and I don't want to suck my own dick here, but I'm a tank at Batman, okay? Even now,
He's a tank. Don't challenge this man on Batman. He'll fuck you up.
But even now, I'll start a mission and I'll have that little feeling in my head being like, oh shit, this is going to be hard. And then I'll suddenly be like, oh wait, no, that was when I was 14. No, it's easy actually. Oh yeah.
Now I destroy it with my eyes closed.
Yeah, no, I forgot it isn't hard. I was just small. but yeah, and yeah, how about least satisfying then? The most disappointing game you've ever played?
The most disappointing game I've ever played.
I know my answer.
Okay.
And to be fair, I don't know if I can say ever, but certainly recently, Marvel's Avengers.
Oh, yes.
What a bunch of pieces of shit that was. That was awful. That was a Frankenstein's mess of microtransactions, shitty paid-for skins, and repetitive, boring gameplay. The only reason I managed to play as much as I did is because I met a very friendly Canadian gentleman through matchmaking, and me and him became buds. But if it wasn't for him, I would have only played it for overall about 8 hours before turning it off. It was boring as fuck, and I don't know how they did it, because here's the thing. By this point, not only have they had the four Arkham games that they could base it off, they also had the Marvel Spider-Man game. How the fuck do you go from Marvel Spider-Man, which is essentially a clone of an Arkham game, but with a lot more... There's a lot of differences because of the differences between Spider-Man and Batman. There's obvious differences. I'm not saying it's, a rip-off or anything.
Yeah. But
how do you go from that sort of quality to what is essentially a rip-off of Destiny with fucking Marvel spray painted over it? It's honestly, I almost... You know what? I don't even know about almost. I think I just flat out regret buying it. Waste of £40.
Yeah, I remember you leveling up all of the. What was it that you were leveling up on that game?
You have to. So there were 6 characters. Now there's 8, so that's even better, I guess. And yeah, you could level them all up to level 50. And I leveled up Iron Man, Hulk, and Captain America, and I was working through 4. But then I was just like, I eventually the switch just switched where I was like, wow. I could literally be sitting here staring at a wall and it would still be time spent better than this. This is nothing. Because I was doing the same thing every time I played it. I was going on the same maps, beating up the same people in exactly the same way with the exact same person every single fucking time. And when I say the same person, I don't mean the friendly Canadian. I mean the grinding you have to do on that one specific character in order to level him up. Like... You can't just go through all of them because then it doesn't level up properly. You need to grind.
Yeah.
And eventually you get sick of playing as Iron Man for 10 hours, which you shouldn't do. When I play Batman or Spider-Man, I never get sick of that. But because in this game, everything is so repetitive, including the gameplay and the actual, the fighting variations, you get sick of their fighting. Of their fighting.
Yeah.
And you want to go to a different fighting style, which the game offers plenty of. But again, you got to grind.
Yeah.
It's honestly... train wreck of a game. Don't know what they were thinking. And it's honestly, because it released so soon after Endgame, it just feels like a fucking money, attempt at money making. It feels soulless. It feels like a product.
Yeah. And there's another game which has a similar problem to that, which is on my list of the least favourite games.
Yeah, would you say your most disappointing?
The most disappointing.
Okay.
Really disappointing, man. So there was this awesome concept for a game that was released, and the game was called Evolve.
Oh yes, I do
Now,
know it. Yes.
I think a lot of like I guess like niche avid gamers will probably know about this game.
A lot of geeks and nerds will know about this game.
But so who was it? It was Nathan that introduced me and Luke to this game, because Nathan is like a proper gamer, like hardcore, dedicated gamer. And he found out about this game and let us know about it. And we played it. And the concept was like the game was going to be like match based. So like you'd play a match in a group of 5, where the 4 players, four of the players are different hero characters, and the 5th player is a giant monster. So these like 4 other characters are like hunters, like monster hunters. You get to pick different characters to choose which one you want to play, like, you know, bounty hunter or like trapper or like, you know, person that heals or whatever. And then you guys all go into this giant dome with like a jungle or like, you know, buildings or whatever. And then this giant, like, huge, like, 50-foot monster is
Godzilla!
Is the other player. And, like, there were different monsters that you could play as, like a giant, like, octopus monster. Like, you know, there were loads of different ones that you could choose. And, like, you know, the mission was it was a fight to the death. Will the monster win? Will the 4 players win? And that is an awesome idea for, like, a team game. And they fucked it. They completely fucked it. For, like, the first... times that we played Evolve, me, Luke, Nathan, it was a lot of fun, and we had like loads of fun. But they made lots of updates, they changed the game, and they completely fucked it. Like, the rounds were a bit too long, like they went on for too long, like there were just so many small important elements that they completely fucked. And they essentially wanted to sell it out, and then they moved it on to another stage of the game because they could see it was failing, and this game had a fucking huge budget, and like it was bad that it was failing, so they gave it a second, like a reboot, and they called it Evolve Stage 2, which was supposed to be like a Fortnite version of it. So essentially
was that Fortnite dances?
the monsters could do Fortnite dances.
Oh my god, that squid monster's twerking.
But now it was free to play, so like anyone could play it, but like, yeah,
that's just like Fortnite.
Exactly. But yeah, no, they fucked it. And I thought it was such a cool concept, but yeah, no.
Man, yeah, that's a shame, because I remember I tried to play it with you guys, but my computer couldn't run it because my computer isn't that good.
Yeah.
One day I'm going to have enough money and I will get the best computer in the world.
The best ever. I'll make it for you.
No. It's going to be so good NASA are going to make it. With a team of top scientists. Yeah. Jeffrey Bezos' guys.
It's going to be a quantum computer, you know. Yeah.
It's going to time travel and shit, okay? It's going to be rad.
You know, for real. Your top computer that you get is going to need to be built by me, of course, to celebrate the tradition, you know.
Absolutely, because he assembled my last computer like a fucking Frankenstein.
The cyborg computer, the Frankenstein computer.
It's true.
We took the graphics card from his old computer, and his new computer that he'd got had like an onboard CPU integrated graphics card. So it didn't have like a graphics card on it, it had an integrated one. So we took the side panel off, and we tried to put on the old graphics card into the slot, but it didn't fit in properly, so we had to like cut off the back end of it and like kind of like cut off the unimportant parts of the card and stick it into the computer, and it works.
It does. It's worked for years, and then we had to fucking hook up a power supply that we had to buy online because it all got too much. It did work. To go back to video games quickly, do you want to know another excellent video game series that I want to quickly mention? Have you ever played the Walking Dead games, Telltale?
I haven't, but I've seen people playing it.
Alright, the Telltale games? Alright, so I'm a big fan of the Walking Dead franchise. Of everything but the TV show. Which is unfortunately the biggest thing in terms of popularity. But the TV show of The Walking Dead sucks tremendous balls. And arse. It's awful. It's horrible, man. It's so fucking awful.
But not all of it.
No. Alright, yeah, let me quickly go on the tangent. Season 1, actually... pretty fucking great, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking good.
It was, yeah, no, it was really good. It was
Season
good.
2 dropped the fucking boat by setting 12 or 11 out of the 13 episodes on a fucking farm where they did nothing. And do you want to know a fun fact? The budget was cut in half for that season.
Really?
And in fact, there's a letter that AMC sent to the creators, because at this point, the guy who created the actual show, Frank Darabont, he's the reason why season 1 was good. AMC fired him.
What? Why?
Because he wanted, he knew how much money the show was making, so he wanted a budget increase, and he wanted a pay rise for the actors and all that lot. And no, they fired him from his own show.
Really?
Dude, he sued them for that, and that situation's only just been resolved this year.
Really?
Yeah, and he got a massive payout.
How much?
Yeah. I actually don't know the amount, but the headline said it was massive. but yeah, and the video games, however, the Telltale ones, luckily they're not set in the television universe. They're set in the universe of the comic books. And here's a fun fact: the comic books of The Walking Dead are, for me, some of the best comics I've ever read. There's 32 of them, 32 volumes, I think. In terms of issues, there's like 193, I think is the exact number. But of those 32 volumes, when I read them all, and I binge read them, man, that was some of the most fun I've had reading comics in years. And it's so, like, I honestly wish, I would go back in time to my younger self. I'd slap him in the face, kick him in the balls, and then I'd be like, don't you ever, I'd spit on him, and I'd be like, don't you ever watch the Walking Dead TV show. Just go into the comics. Don't have the incredible twists in the comics spoiled for you by a half-assed attempt at doing them in a way that's intended for shock value on a shitty TV show that the network doesn't care about. Don't do it. Because, man, if I had never read them and I had those twists not spoiled for me, because they do a lot of shit from the comics in the show, a lot of it. They do try and twist it some around, but even when they do, you know what they've done to twist it, and thus you know the twist. Man, yeah, it would have been so much better. But even without it, it's still it's an incredible read. I'd recommend it to anyone.
But it's the same in a lot of cases, isn't it? And
the video games, can you put your phone on silent, by the way? And the video games, it's behind you. It's other side. Jesus, Hector, it's behind your head. I'm not cutting this.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But the video games are set in the comic universe, loosely. You meet some of the characters, but not that many. But man, season 1, incredible. One of the only games I've ever cried at. I was young, but yeah, I cried. Season 2, yeah, it's good. It's alright. I stopped playing after season 2. Not because I didn't like it, I did, but because they didn't upgrade on their system, on like the gaming, and it made it very hard to play on my computer. But then I got it on PlayStation, and so I finally played it. Season 3, it's okay. It's a little bit worse than Series 2, but it's still right. Series 4, however, is a return to form. Series 4 was really fucking good. Mm-hmm. And yeah, overall, I think it's a tremendous little series. And the best thing about it is the interactivity of it. Like, you could play the game as a stone cold dick killer. You can play it as a heartless bastard, being awful and selfish.
There were loads of Let's Players that played this.
Yeah, PewDiePie quite though.
Yeah, I think that was the main one that I watched.
Markiplier and probably Jacksepticeye probably did them.
Yeah, Markiplier and Markiplier and PewDiePie. Those were the two that I watched, like proper back in the day. YouTube gamers. We used to watch them. We used to enjoy them. But
yeah, and fucking yeah. What can I say? I would very much recommend them. They were very good. But you will never play them because they're single player.
No, I won't. But I did watch them playing them.
And that's also very good. Yeah. Talking of stone cold dick killer, should we move on to what is apparently a very recurring topic on the podcast? We will talk about it every week until season 5 stops, and then we will do a big wrap up, and then we won't have to talk about it again for a while.
Yeah.
So don't worry, fans. This isn't a Rick and Morty podcast. However, we're going to have to talk about it.
It's a running theme.
And we have 2 things we can talk about when it comes to Rick and Morty. The first is they made their very first theatrical movie appearance. The very first time you could ever see them on a big screen. And what movie was it in, Hector?
Oh God, it was in the rather cringe one. What's it called? Jam.
Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Oh,
Now, it's so bizarre to me, and we talked about this, but this happened last week. It was released. All right. So, a kid goes to the cinema with his family. They watch Space Jam 2, A New Legacy. Rick and Morty come on screen for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. That's how long it is. And it's a fun little cameo, don't we?
Yeah.
But it's, you know.
Yeah, no, it's...
And the dad, the dad's a bit millennial, so he's like, oh, wow, can't believe that. That's cool. And the kid looks up and he's like, who are they, Dad? And he's like, well, they're Rick and Morty, but don't go Googling them, haha. But the kid actually does Google them later. And they're like, oh, there's a new episode released this week. I'm going to watch it and get introduced to Rick and Morty. And what would they have watched? They would have watched the giant sperm, giant incest baby episode.
Yeah, it's not the best.
And this is a kids' movie starring the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Like, man, I can't believe Rick and Morty not only were in it, but that was their first film appearance. Not even their movie was their first film appearance. It was a cameo. And again, they talk in it. It's Justin Roiland's in this movie. It's Space Jam. Like, man, it was weird. But it was cool.
After that, but then again, I don't know, would they have predicted that it would be shown in cinemas when they'd released such a weird episode?
At the same time, though, they would have known ahead of schedule when it was released, at which point they could have delayed the episode so that children Googling the show wouldn't see giant incest baby and sperm monsters,
However, it wasn't supposed to be released then, was it?
No. Remember, that was actually the one that was supposed to be released, and it was the Voltron episode that was leaked.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's cool to see Rick and Morty. I mean, I didn't see it in cinemas. It was trending on Twitter, that's how I know. But if I did go and see it in cinemas, it'd be really cool to see Rick and Morty on the big screen. And hopefully we do get to see him properly on the big screen one day. Hopefully we get 10 seasons on a movie,
Yeah.
Once it finishes, even if it finishes on a...
I honestly think that there will be a Rick and Morty movie. There has to be. Like, it is blown.
Do you think they're going to save Evil Morty for the Rick and Morty movie?
See, I honestly think that they would do one because of how, like, popular.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a worldwide popular thing.
To be
Everyone
fair,
knows what Rick and
you
Morty
say
is.
that, but there's only been one Simpsons movie and no Family Guy movie. And one South Park movie.
I think there's high odds that there's going to be a Rick and Morty movie.
No. I think there's high odds, but what I mean is it might not be like the money maker. Like, it might not perform as high as you think it might. I doubt it'd break $1 billion or anything.
Really?
I don't think it'd break $1 billion at all, actually. If it did come out, my estimation, it'd probably get around, I don't know, 600, 700,000.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't think it would get that much?
I really don't think it'd break $1 billion, dude. I can't see it doing that. That'd be...
You think it's too niche?
Yeah. It's really popular, but you got to remember, even though it's popular, it still is in many ways, like, in terms of, like, references and lore. It's still technically a cult show. It's just a big cult. Like, you wouldn't sit down with your mum and dad and watch Rick and Morty, as a family. It's not like Doctor Who. When Doctor
you do it
Who,
with your mates,
Yeah,
Do
but
the sort of thing you do with your mates. Think about everyone at college. Literally everyone at college.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's
knew
still
what
not the
Rick and
same
Morty
as, say, like an Endgame, or a Marvel movie where whole families. I don't think
it's not the same.
It's not enough to break $1 billion.
But didn't that literally break $1 billion?
What?
Endgame.
Broke $2 billion.
Yeah, like.
Because it had families.
It wouldn't be as big as that, but I feel like it would still be in the millions. Like, it wouldn't be in the 100,000s, It would be.
No, sorry, I meant 700. Million is what I meant. Sorry.
I thought you meant thousands.
No, it would definitely break. Sorry, no. 700 million is what I meant to say.
I see. Other than that
I think I said 700,000. I meant 700 million.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well,
No,
in that case,
of course it would. Of course it would break $1 million. Are you kidding? Duh. No, 700 million. It wouldn't break $1 billion though. No way. Not in my opinion. If it, yeah, I couldn't see that happening. I really couldn't. If it did, I'd be pretty fucking.
It wouldn't be that big. It would be big because the gaming community and like the general that community of people is big. you know.
Yeah, but I think 700. No, I said 600 to 700. I'd go 700 to 800 maybe, but I thought 700 is about where it's at.
So I feel like you're appealing to like the entire audience of like social media.
To be fair,
basically.
should we do a recorded, immortalized in podcast bet?
Okay. Yeah.
I bet you that if there is an eventual movie, which might never happen, but if there is, I bet you it will not break past. I'll go 800. I doubt it would break past 800 million.
800 million.
If that's too risky of a bet for you, I could take it down to 700. Depends on how much faith you have in it.
I think it could maybe just break 700
enough,
million.
Maybe enough for you to agree to a bet.
Yeah, I think it will do more than 700 million.
Okay, winner's bet. If it ever happens and we find out who the winner is, that winner gets to do, give the other person a punishment on the podcast,
Okay.
All right, we're going to shake on it now. You've heard that here, folks. If a Rick and Morty movie ever happens, keep an eye on that box office and you'll find out. And the punishment, this could happen in years, so this punishment could be built up and anticipated, so it could be big. It could kill us. We could kill each other.
You have to sit in ice for 4 hours.
You have to climb Mount Everest twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, and after Space Jam, which again, we didn't watch Space Jam, we just saw the cameo, it was trending on Twitter. But there was also, of course, a new episode released this week. Episode 5, American Grickfitti, I think Amortycan Grickfitti, I think it's called.
Yeah.
They're getting really loose with these word puns, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're getting loose on a lot of things.
No, in my opinion, this episode 5, I'd say it was kind of a return to form. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good.
Unlike the other ones we've seen so far this season, and I don't know if this is true, so I don't even know if I should say it, but this one felt like it was written by like a veteran of the show, someone who's written for it before. But I don't know. I haven't looked into it that much.
Yeah.
But let's quickly talk about the story. So the main story is we see Rick and Jerry heading out for a boys' night, and the audience is like, what? Ricks hate Jerry's. That's like their whole thing.
And this is how I reacted at the beginning.
Yeah, you were like, is this actually the real Rick? And I was like, well, hold on. We've seen this sort of thing before. And when I said that, I was thinking of the Whirly Durly episode where he comes in and he's like, Jerry, get up. We're going to have a Rick and Jerry adventure. Get dressed. No, don't even get dressed. I can make you clothes in the car. Come on. It's a Rick and Jerry episode. Like, I was thinking it could be like that. So he has something up his sleeve. And then immediately in the next scene, we discover that he does indeed have something up his sleeve, which is, well, I mean, technically he doesn't have like a plan or anything. It's just that
he's using Jerry.
Yeah, he's using Jerry because he made a bad deal with fucking hell people, like demons. What actually are they? Cenobites, I guess. Like they're based on the people from the movie Hellraiser. You ever seen Hellraiser with Pinhead?
I haven't. No.
It's a good movie. You should check it out. But yeah, the designs are based on those, and that whole thing is that they love pain and suffering, and therefore they love hanging around with Rick and Jerry.
Because Jerry is super cringe, and the cringe is pleasure for them.
They love cringe.
They love
And Jerry
cringe.
takes him to karaoke, which he calls Jerryoke, and they're like, delicious.
Oh, the cringe.
And at the same time, so Beth is going off to help horses give birth, I think, and she leaves Summer and Morty alone, and Morty wants to invite a friend round, and his name is... Was it Chuck?
Oh, yes, fucking Trent or like something like that.
They give him a whole song.
Yeah.
And yeah, that song was pretty fun. I don't know, they haven't done shit like that before, really. And that was a fun little bit.
And it's the car.
Yeah.
The car becomes more of like a character now.
Yeah, so the guy comes around and both Summer and Morty want to impress him. So they decide, let's steal Rick's car. And there's a fun little scene where they're trying to talk the car into deactivating his system. And they're like, Rick's in danger. And the car's like, where? And where? and they're like, no, you're not allowed to listen to us, and therefore we can't tell you where Rick is, and therefore Rick is going to die unless you deactivate your security and let us drive the car. And she does so, and they're like, sweet, we have the car now, let's go, Chuck or Trent or whatever your name is. I think it's Chuck. It could be Trent. Again, I don't know. Why don't you... Oh, no, that's not good at it. We'll just call him Chuck or Trent.
Chuck or Trent. Yeah, that's how we'll refer to him.
And yeah, so they go off in the car and start doing some hijinks. Meanwhile, Rick, the Cenobites, and Jerry are at the bar. Jerry's singing karaoke, and Beth enters, and Rick's like, oh, fuck, what are you doing here, Beth? And she's like, I knew it. You're just using my husband. And the Cenobites are like, you must be Beth. Rick said you're awesome. And she's like, did he really say that? And he doesn't say anything, which he probably did say that. And again, this goes into that theme of he's really starting to like open up to his family a lot more and love his family.
Yeah.
Like, he would usually talk shit about people behind their backs, but he probably actually were like, yeah, my daughter Beth's awesome. Like, he's showing more affection towards his family. Even Jerry, like, he feels bad for what he's done to Jerry in this episode.
Yeah.
He actually feels guilt about hurting Jerry's feelings. But yeah, but Beth gets given a drink by the Cenobites, and she's an alcoholic, and she's like, this is really fucking good. And she ends up getting like involved and, you know, ripping on Jerry, as they all do. Jerry goes to the bathroom and hears the Cenobites being like, oh, his delicious cringe. Oh, it's so tasty. Yum, 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 cringe. And he realises what's happening. So, cut back to Morty and Summer and Trent or Chuck. Jeff? Fuck. There's a fly and it's just gone towards the microphone, so that's going to be in there now. Don't worry, guys. People listening to this, that was us. There's not a fly in your room flying around your ear. It's flying around our microphone, okay? Alright, but yeah, so Morty, Summer and Trent or Chuck or Jeff, they've done hijinks in the car, and then suddenly the car turns back on and is like, you fools, I have recorded everything that you've done, and now I have evidence to say that anything done tonight was on you, so now I can do whatever you want, whatever I want. Buckle up, bitches. And it goes off and fucking starts fighting like intergalactic monster bad guys. Like, it fights basically Rick and Morty's version of Galactus from Marvel.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a fun little scene, and it shows personality to Rick's car, because we've known Rick's car has a personality. We've known from that Keep Summer Safe episode, which they reference in this, so we know it's the same Rick and Morty from that episode, which is maybe relevant.
Yes. Yeah, that is actually quite relevant, isn't it?
Mm. But yeah, so cut back to fucking, you know, the Rick gang. Jerry is getting annoyed now because he knows he's being used, and one of the Cenobites is like, hey Jerry, what did you do last night? And Jerry's like, last night I was fucking your mum. And the Cenobite's like, oh, you want to go, bro? And Rick's like, hey, chill, I got this. Jerry, what's going on, man? And yeah, Jerry's like, you know, I know you guys are using me and I'm angry and blah, 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 blah. I don't remember exactly what happens at this point. Someone gets mad, I think, but like a fight breaks out and they take Jerry through the wormhole to hell.
Yeah.
And yeah, and obviously Rick and Beth go through the wormhole to hell in order to rescue him. Now, here's actually a relevant thing, all right? And I don't know how relevant it is, but because I haven't actually read it yet, but in this episode, they go to hell. And I know that recently, because there was a Rick and Morty comic book series, if you didn't know about this.
I didn't.
Yeah, it's been going on for like 3-4 years now, and it's pretty fun. Originally, it followed the exploits of Rick and Morty C-132, which, fun fact, is apparently the dimension that they go into in Rick Potion number 9 in Series 1. Mm. So the Rick and Morty from the comics are the Rick and Morty that get killed in that episode, and that our Rick and Morty replace.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But eventually the comic books do just follow C-137. And there was a whole little fucking volume recently called Rick and Morty Go to Hell, where they get trapped in hell. And I don't know if it's connected. I don't know if it's like... Yeah, I haven't read it. I don't know.
It sounds like they got some ideas, you know, one from the other.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no. And we cut back to Morty, Summer, and Jeff or Chuck or Trent, and they're with the car, and the car gets into a little argument with like a transformer. and she realizes that she actually
Chad transformer.
A Chad transformer. A fucking like a boom hunk transformer, and boom, 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 and and the car has the hots, and they talk her into dressing up as one of the transformer robots and trying to chat him up. It doesn't go well. They realise she's a car and they're like, oh my gosh, she's hideous. What the fuck's happened? Oh my god, her fucking head's falling off, you know? She gets angry and kills them all. At which point, I think that's when they get arrested by Space Police. Because they eventually get arrested by Space Police.
Yeah. Because they jump out of the car.
And the Space Police are like, you're facing life here, you know? You are awful people, terrible children. And here is your lawyer, and a fucking obviously dead woman comes walking in and speaks in the car's voice, and the guy leaves, and she's like, it's me, I reanimated this woman to make it easier. You guys are facing a life sentence, but I've managed to narrow it down so only one of you has to take the fall. Let Trent or Chuck or Jeff, whatever his name is, let him take the fall. He ruined all our nights. He is a buzzkill. Like proper petty reasons why he should go down for life.
The car is savage. You know, the car proved itself to be a savage.
The car's a stone cold dick killer.
It's a stone cold dick killer.
But eventually they're like, you know, Morty and Summer are like, no, we're not going to let him take the fall because, you know, he's a nice guy even though he's a bit dim and, you know, really reactionary. And the car's like, okay, fair enough. And then she just blows a hole through the thing, and the car's like, this was always an option, but I thought you guys would prefer the safer route. And they're like, you did learn something, you had an arc, you learned something today, car. So then, at the same time, Rick and Beth are making their way through hell. They've dressed up as Cenobites. Rick has a fucking hole in his chest that is never explained. Like, he just has a hole in his chest.
He just has a hole in his
when
chest.
he takes out the manatee, whatever it is, that hole is still there. Like, it's a hole in him.
Yeah.
But, he's dressed up as a hole, and Beth's dressed up as... I think she's got, like, pins or pegs attached to her or some shit. They manage to get into where Jerry is, and they're all put up on skin hooks. But the thing is, the reason why Rick owed them is because he sold them bad skin hooks. So the skin hooks immediately break, and they're like, why are these still up? Who used these? And they're trying to convince them because in their world they exist on such pure irony where they love pain and they love suffering, but that is pleasure, and they hate pleasure, but hating that pleasure gives them even more pain, which is pleasure. So they're in an endless cycle of irony of what they can and cannot love and what enjoys. So they manage to use that to their advantage until eventually they have to just fucking use brunt force. And he attaches one of them to like a fucking gun. He makes them like a machine gun, and he uses like sincere irony or sincerity, where he's like, you know, even though you guys are really lame, I love you guys. And he's like, nerd. And then it fills up, and he's like, all right, come on, you useless dickheads, let's get out of here. And they shoot up all the things, and they get hurt, and they're like, oh, real bullets. This is pain, but not the good kind.
The bad kind of pain.
The bad kind of pain. And and they fucking break their way out of it. So they manage to get back through the wormhole and get in the car. Morty and Summer and Trent or Jeff or Chuck, whatever his name is, they get home, and the car's like, quickly, Rick can smell adventure. Which is my favourite line of
adventure.
Which was,
and the car quickly washes itself before he gets, and when he gets here, he smells the car like he does. He smells adventure.
But luckily Jerry is like, sorry, I farted, so he brushes it off. But I've said my favourite line of every episode in this podcast, I think, so far. That was my favourite line of the podcast. of the episode. Rick can smell adventure.
And he could.
But so they get in, and they question fucking Morty and Summer and all that lot, but they get away with it. And then Jeff or Trent or Chuck or whatever his name is eventually like, you guys, this was a really fun time, possibly the best night of my life, but I need to get a further understanding of your place in our school's hierarchy until I can decide whether or not I want to be your friend. Until then, Bisies. And Morty's like, Bisies? That was so cringe. But yeah, so you figure out he's a dickhead. Yeah. And the episode ends. And it was technically very much a filler episode. But it was one of the really fun ones.
It was a good one.
I
enjoyed it.
It was of the same quality as like a season 2 episode.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So yeah, so far. And should we do this? Because we are halfway through the season. Should we give our ranking of the season so far?
I think we should leave that till the end. Once we've got all of them together collectively, we can decide the very best and worst of everything so far, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
Yeah. But so far, I think they've been okay. Obviously, the sperm episode was a bit questionable, you know. But Rick and Morty, you know, it's Rick and Morty. You know, they're gonna do crazy, wacky stuff.
So far, the sperm episode hasn't even been my least favourite of the season.
Really?
It still goes to episode. I don't know why. I really didn't like the Planetino episode. It actually kind of gets to me. I don't know if I'll ever really want to rewatch it.
See, I quite enjoyed that one. I thought it was good.
It's the first. It might actually be the first episode of Rick and Morty that I mean it. Like, I don't see myself, like, if I'm rewatching the entire series, yeah, but I don't see myself wanting to rewatch it. I would rewatch the sperm episode.
What parts of it don't you enjoy though?
I don't know. We talked about this before. I felt like it feels like fucking. There's so much character regression. Which and don't get me wrong, in the sperm episode, there's not character regression per se, but there is a lot of people acting out of character. But I don't know. I somehow found it more tolerable in the sperm episode, even though the story was more outlandish. I found the characters more tolerable.
Yeah. I get what you mean, but I personally, I thought it was okay. You know, it delved into things that hadn't really been delved into before. But you know,
here's the thing, though, and I just realised this because we've talked about the leaked episode. So next week there'll be episode 6, which we can talk about. But after that, it'll be episode 7,
which we've talked about.
Yeah. So do we talk about it a second time?
I guess so, and I guess we can go over all the ones.
Yeah. Actually, to be fair, you know what we could do? Because we have already talked about it. That could be the episode, or that could be an episode where we could talk about some of the old seasons and some of our favourites and least favourites of series 1, 2 through 4.
Yeah.
You could talk about the pick list of Ricks and the fucking the other Rick and Morty episodes.
Yeah.
The only notable one is the Picker List of Ricks, which should have been what it was actually called instead of Pickle Rick. The Picker List of Ricks. Yeah. If I could rename Rick and Morty episodes, I'd call it that. Yeah. Alright. Should we wrap this up? Have we run out of stuff to talk about? Anything else you want to bring up? We could go back into video games.
The moon looks beautiful tonight.
The moon does look beautiful tonight. We did say earlier, we joked that we were going to have a little section called Moon Talk. We just talk about how much we love the moon.
And I love the moon, buddy.
Here's the thing, and to be fair, we are both Cancers, you know, star sign-wise, and we are children of the moon.
Yeah, and we love the moon. We love that moon, you know.
And I'm actually terrified that one day I'm just going to turn into a werewolf because of how much I love the moon.
That's what you're worried about. I'm worried that I'm going to turn into a little moon. That would be terrible.
Little moon man, a little moon boy.
Man running around.
Look at this small moon man running around here.
But yes, on that note, good night, everybody.
Yes. Good night. Thank you for listening. And you've got 2 episodes this week, but after this, it will just be 1 a week. Don't expect it. Actually, no. I'm actually telling a lie, because next week we're going to have 2 audios out.
Yeah.
One will be a commentary track for 2008's Iron Man. So if you haven't seen it, I'd give it a watch.
Oh, definitely.
And the second will be an ordinary podcast where a big chunk of it will be reviewing 2008's Iron Man.
Yeah.
So, thank you for listening. Look forward to that next week. If you are listening and you've gotten to the end, please leave a like, you know, follow if you're on Spotify or the Apple iTunes thing, or subscribe if you're on YouTube. Or don't do any of it. I'm not your fucking dad. I'm no one's dad. I don't have kids.
Who are you? Are you my dad?
No, I just said I'm no one's dad. technically, biologically, I am the dad of at least 17 people, but I don't consider them people. Shut up. Alright, yeah, that's the end, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Good night.
Goodbye.
And I need a piss.